Nah, that was illegal. Come on. About to freeze this picture angle.
Hey, look at each other.
Bruce, indaga mochikari. Nchoroga cable kugira remo. Baba no pado charge. Pato charge my phone. Yeah. Struggle. Okay. Catch it. Mara, you don't pick it banana. Is what do you do? Mira, go Brisbane.
No.
Now to all go to 1 2 1 2. USB.
One two one two one two one two.
Drinks break, and after 10 overs, Mountaineers are on 102 for 1 now. Brian Bennett on 32 runs and Nicholas Watch on 58 runs. Tuskers won the toss and they chose to bowl first. It is match number 7, the domestic T20 tournament between Tuskers and Mega Market Mountaineers. And the second match of the day will be played at 18:30 hours. That is between Rocks and Rhinos. And tomorrow, the 29th of March, We'll see Mountaineers taking on Eagles at Harare Sports Club. And play will start at 13:30 hours in the afternoon. And the second match of the day will be between Tuskers and Rocks at the Harare Sports Club as well. And play will start at 18:30 hours in the evening. And then on Sunday the 30th of March 2025, we'll see the final two top teams competing in the final of the domestic T20 tournament. You are reminded that no spectators are allowed on the field of play during, after, even before the match.
1-2. One, 1-2, 1-2. The tablecloth might just negate it.
Some emotions are one.
Options are 1. We can't talk this. 1-2. My check. We're back. Live action continues. We do apologize for the break in audio transmission. Just some technical glitches. We catch up with you just in the middle of the 12th over. 3 balls have been bowled, and Mountaineers on 122 for the loss of 1. They are cruising, you would say. Nick Welsh on 64 from 30. Brian Bennett 46 from 30. Brennan James bowling. Immediately punched. Going to be a single. These two have done well. Not only have they gotten off to the halfway stage of the innings, just having lost 1 wicket, this has given Mega Market Mountaineers, Larry, a platform from which they can be able to really launch on.
Absolutely, and that's come from the acceleration that Nick Welsh has had. He got to his 50 of just 24 balls. He's been liking whatever has been coming at him. He's on 65 of 31 now, and Brian Bennett, should say almost ridiculous, it's saying a little bit slower, going at 150 compared to Nick Welsh at 209.
Phenomenal batting from Nick Welsh, finding a liking to the shorter boundaries here, Takashinga. Utilizing the conditions that have been made available to him, because you would say that if they were playing at a different field, it might have been a different outcome. But, well, you play what's put in front of you. Oh, good bowling. Just taking the pace of that one, Brendan James. That should be the end of the over. So 12 overs done. 123 for 1. Raymond Casimo, his second over, went for 8 in the first one that he bowled. Only 1 boundary was scored off from there. No one really has had control Everybody going above 6 and over. And this whole entire Tuskers unit tucked away through point or a single. Milton Schumbert doing the cleanup duties on that occasion. Tuskers really finding it hard to get off to the right mark, you would say here, because the scoring rate at the moment that Mega Mountaineers have here is quite phenomenal. Nick Walsh striking it at over 200. Brian Bennett just under 150. That does tell you the kind of story that we have here. Oh, well bowled. Slower delivery. Taking the pace off it. Really not much movement off the surface, whether you're bowling spin, no pace, nothing off the surface to try and help the bowlers. So pretty much it is a wicket where you need to utilize other variations in your bowling arsenal. Take the pace off, bowl stump to stump. Don't give away too much width. Don't bowl it too short at the same time. So kind of pretty much of a difficult circumstance to be a bowler at the moment.
That just doesn't really go anywhere. Just one off that. And look at the surface. I suppose if you're Tuskers, you could be thinking short boundaries. If you have a go yourself, big scores have been chased here. But if you look at the two batters at the crease right now, they're the sort that can take the match away. Brian Bennett moves to 49.
Yeah, really, he has been doing well, Brian Bennett, in terms of just playing what's in front of him. He has punished bowlers where they have erred, but the man on strike here, Nick Walsh, I've seen him dispatch a number of good deliveries. Comes down the track. That's a good strike. Now to go all the way for 6. And the key in that shot was great use of the feet to get to the pitch. It was a good idea just to bowl it back off a length. But Nick Walsh uses his feet to get to the pitch at that one and he'll send it for 6.
Nick Walsh demonstrating one of the attributes that I think when we saw him making his return to cricket in Zimbabwe, having spent some time in England, came through for the NPL, was a big hitter and as an opener, and his ability to clear the boundaries is one of his biggest attributes. He has that skill, sees it very well. Very muscular young boy. Raymond Casimo tries to end that over, and Nick Walsh just punches that down to long off. And at the end of the 13th over, it's 134 for 1.
Brendan James back into the attack. Slow delivery. And that's what I think that you need to do on this surface. Just take the pace off and let it be the batters themselves who choose to come attacking at you, because pace on, it'll set up nicely for them. And with the majority of the caliber of batters that are in the middle, they love it when pace is coming on. So you need to be inventive in how you bowl at them. Take the pace off, leg cutters, off cutters. Too short. Now before, very worked. And that'll bring up his 50. A magnificent shot to come up to 50 with a boundary. You always get a good feeling. He's had a magnificent knock. Gets there just after 34 deliveries. Strike rate just above 150. Magnificent from Brian Bennett. You think that he just easily got to 50. Didn't struggle at all. Just working his magic.
Excellent play there from Brian Bennett. Follows that up with just a little punch down to long off. That is his 7th 15 all T20 cricket. 4 of them coming domestically and 3 of them internationally. He's a reliable opener for Mountaineers. And a person who certainly took his chance. Got his chance at Mountaineers.
Like I said earlier on, that here you need to bowl stump to stump. But then the field set that Brendan James has pretty much set for short balls. You've got a deep mid on, deep mid wicket, deep square, and then fine leg is in pretty much almost to a short 45. Then he's got long off. Swing and a miss. I don't think this is the kind of field set that you should have, considering, one, these batters have an eye in. They're already striking it well. Short boundaries all around. If you're going to bowl short, you have to have the pace to back it up. And Brandon James is not the quickest of them all right at the moment. Just trying to understand the thinking behind the field set or the kind of bowling strategy that he has at the moment. Getting slower. This is good. Make them play within the V or just down the track. That will keep it just to singles. Anything shorter will go.
Absolutely on the money with that analysis. And at the end of the 14th over, it is 141 for 1. Coming into the attack now is a veteran of this province, Ernest Masugu, a player who served Tuskers very, very well. And looking to do something, went for plenty in his 2 overs, going at 12 and a half. Just yet to take a wicket. The only wicket to go down was taken by the captain, Ainsley Ndlovu, facing Nicholas Welsh now. And he's got under that and deposited it with disdain. Not the kind of delivery you want to present to Nicholas Welsh, is it?
Definitely not. Too short, duly punished. And I will reiterate it again. You bowl short and you're not that quick, it'll sit up nicely. And that one, it was a perfect short ball to be put away for 6. It's just the strategy that I really am questioning at the moment. Again, this time, thick outside edge. And taking a good catch. Much better. It was pitched up. Looked to play it straight. Found a thick outside edge. Looking to go straight down the ground. But it goes to point. Good running catch in the end. That's what you need to do. Do away with the short deliveries. Pitch it up a bit here and there. And you will be rewarded. Nick Welch departs. But the damage, you kind of feel it's already been done. He will go for a well-made 81 of 42 deliveries. And I know that he will feel like he missed out here on an opportunity to get a big one. But he has set his team up very, very well. Mega Market Mountaineers, 147 for the loss of 2.
Presenting himself at the crease now is Timson Maruma, the veteran, and coming into circumstances in which he can play with a lot more freedom because the platform has been set. 147 for 2 after 14.2. An ideal set of circumstances. Ernest Masuku continues. And, Maruma gently sets off, gets off the mark with the first ball, brings Brian Bennett onto the crease, onto strike. So probably the right decision to make, given Bennett is set in if you're trying to go for really big numbers out there. Bennett strong on the offside.
Played just to rotate the strike. You spoke about the man on strike, Timson Maruma. Lots of experience. 77 T20s, not internationals, but just T20s. 77 that he's played. Strike rate of 114. Highest of 81 that he has. So just kind of get a feeling that Mountaineers are putting up their big hitters now in this kind of situation that they have, because they have a platform to launch from. The cheers that you hear in that single, and they get to 150. Already that's a good total to have here. And within the next 5 overs after this last delivery, they can look to try and go beyond what they're going at now. Too short. And that'll go to deep mid wicket for just one. Bennett will fail, missed out an opportunity. And that delivery will wrap up the 15th over. So after 15, it's 151 for 2 for the Mountaineers.
The captain, Ainsley Ndlovu, brings himself back in after the partnership is gone. Very experienced campaigner for Tuskers. A player who's held in high regard. And that was an opportunity, attempted reverse sweep. Would that be because Brian Bennett probably respects how wrong end there? Probably a better chance from the striker's end.
Yeah, they were looking to steal a quick single. Timson Maruma was already halfway down the track. And just get a feeling like Gosana threw to the wrong end. Edge. He wanted to play the reverse sweep. Ainsley saw that one quite quickly and just played it down leg side. Signaled his leg buys. I think probably came off the hip there. Ainsley bowling into his last over of his allotted 4. He's been going at 9. It's chipped. It's a safe shot. And they can't just get one. Decent enough. Again, just pushed off the hip, single. Much better over, but it's the last of the overs that he has. So Ainsley Ndlovu from his 4. He'll finish with figures of 1 for 29 in 4 overs. And an economy of 7.2, decent enough. Although he would have loved to pick up more wickets, but he's been decent. 16 done, and the score will be 154 for 2 after 16 for the Mountaineers. Another veteran, both in Tuskers colours. Also has done well on the national side. Look, Jongwe. Ball 2 overs gone for 29. Bit expensive. 15 and a half is what he's been given away. Looking for the block hole. Quick single taken. Good running. Bit of a fumble. Can they get 2? They call it off. Pace bowlers on the surface have been punished. None of those have really been able to hone in the areas that they are known for. The only decent pace bowler is Brendan James so far, a medium pacer. He's been going for 7.5. Everybody else is in double digits. Comes to economy. Swing and a miss. Good ball. Just get a feeling that this is where Tuskers can be able just to bring in things, because Mountaineers, in the efforts to try and amp up things, they're already going at 10 and over. And I get a feeling that they'll be trying to target around the 200 mark region. They're going to look to try and score big, and that will present opportunities to pick up wickets. That's a good shot. Down the track, some bit of fielding to be done. Too good. Look, Jongwe got some fingers to it, but they were not able to stop the power from Timson Maruma, who paddles that one down the track for 4.
Yes, definitely. It's really powerful hitting. Timson Maruma, another player known for his ability to either clear the boundaries or find them very quickly off the ground. When he hits them, they tend to stay hit. I think for Tuskers, one of the biggest weaknesses as they look at this competition is going to be that wickets column. And then just, is that too deep mid-wicket? But what the weakness has been the wicket take. In the first match, only took 2. Did a little better in the second match, took 5. And in this match, they've taken another 2. So in roughly 56 overs, they've taken 9 wickets. And when you look at it, every time a wicket goes, the run rate slows down. We've seen it now. And that has resulted in them conceding a lot of runs, because if you're not taking wickets at a regular enough pace, you end up finding yourself in situations where you concede a lot of runs.
Yeah, that may be the case. Well, Bolt looking for the block hole. That should be 1. And it is kept to 1. Yeah. End of the over, 17 done. Should be 161 for the loss of 2 after 17. Well, the points that you make, Larry, in terms of Tuskers and picking up wickets, yeah, their bowling attack doesn't seem to have that much bite. Maybe they're lacking 1 or 2 really premium bowlers that they can be able to utilize. Not that they have them within their ranks, but it's an opportunity for them to, as a franchise side, to go back into their domestic circuit and make the search for that kind of talent that really has the pace that they are looking for, because they have decent medium pace bowlers, but you just get a feeling that they need 1 or 2 real quick bowlers that will definitely be a little bit lethal and be challenging for other sides. Short, punched away. It's the longer side of boundary and taken. This is what I was talking about. In the desire to amp up things towards the latter stages, wicket taking opportunities will come. Brian Bennett looking to amp up things, trying to go over, long on, finds a well-placed fielder and he will have to depart. Brian Bennett, 59 on the board of 46 deliveries, departs. Mountaineers 161 for the loss of 3. Brandon James gets a breakthrough and he gets his maiden wicket in T20. He'll get a good feeling because Mega Market Mountaineers were looking to really amp up things here. But he provides a breakthrough. Ashley Mfandawiya is the new batter. Oh, tries to go over the wicket keeper and he does. That's 4. He gets off the mark in style, walking across his stumps, and he plays the ramp shot quite beautifully. So the intentions are clear, the message is clear. Anyone coming in for Mountaineers this time, you need to put the foot on the gas.
Bit of a foot on the gas, probably thinking was like 2 new batters there, but Ashley Mfandawiya says no. I'm seeing it like a beach ball from the first one because bowled him. Brandon James takes 1, takes 2.
This is what happens in T20. 1 wicket will bring you another. Ashley Mfandawiya might have gotten away with the first one. Second time around, Brendan James says, nah. I'm going to just bend my back just a little bit more, pitch it up a bit. Wicket to wicket, you miss, I hit. Mountaineers lose their 4th, 165 for 4. And Brandon James has now 2 in his T20 career. He had bowled decently enough. This is his 3rd over. Amped up is Brandon James. He'll go after that one just to keep it to 1. Brilliant piece of fielding of your own bowling. Commitment. Adrenaline is up. You've picked up 2 wickets in an over, which is good so far. This is what I spoke about in the efforts to try and chase 200, because that's what I get a feeling that Sway Mountaineers are looking at 200 plus. It'll bring wicket-taking opportunities, because if you take a look at the last 3 wickets that have fallen, they haven't really gotten much there. Nick Welsh, Brian Bennett, Ashley Mfandawiya. Top edge, really didn't get that one, but it'll go over point and run away. Quick outfield, that's 4. Kind of a moral victory off the bowler there, off the batter, but he'll take the 4 runs. Not really from the middle of the bat, but he gets 4.
You know what? You'll say he meant that. Absolutely. Timothy Maruma having to play so often with his team, the part of the senior statesman, and doesn't quite get enough in it, but is enough to come back for 2. And at the end of the 18th over. The score is 170 for 4.
Ernest Masugu. Short. Doesn't get off the middle of the bat. You think that he's fortunate enough there. Goes to long on. Just 4-1. That's off the bat of Alistair Frost, who's joined Timson Maruma. Right, Masuku's field. Really favouring short ball deliveries here. That's hit straight. 2 straight. That's 4. Well played by Timson Maruma. That's 4. Get a feeling that if he's on strike, he'll be able to get them to just above 200 here. On this occasion, long off was just a tad bit too square. That was hit very, very straight. Right on top of the bowler. A little bit of chatter, trying to strategize how they can be able to go about this over, because this is the 19th over, if I'm not mistaken. The penultimate over. They say that this is what determines where the innings will end. 177 is what's on the board at the moment for Mountaineers. I'm going to put Larry on the spot. What do you think they'll be able to get in these remaining deliveries?
Well, I think the dream of 200 might just be a little bit gone now.
Larry, give us an exact figure.
192. Since you asked, and you did say please.
Good delivery from Masugu. Timson Maruma. I feel like he missed an opportunity there. Was cranking up to hit it down the ground. But good slow delivery. 192 is your figure. That's about just achievable, you would say. Short, worked away, man under it. Doesn't get there, that's 4. Caught in 2 minds there. Whether to go for the catch or to stop the boundary, but in the end, is not able to do either. That's 4. So already, that's 8 runs off this over. And it has 2 more deliveries to go. We're 11 runs away from your 192. About an over and 2 balls to go. Big hit in this one. This is a mighty one. That's gone the maximum. That's 6. Oh, well, the trees will retrieve that one for the Tuskers. That's 2 full in the slot. And it's Masugu going back to full on pace. And with a batter like Maruma on strike, he will take that any day.
I don't even call it a bit of breaking news. There's been an adjustment to the final figure. Might get a 192 in this over at this rate. I didn't quite understand the question. I thought you meant in this over, but after 19 overs, it's 188 for 4.
Right, 188 for the loss of 4 wickets in 19 overs so far for a man from Mutare region, the Mega Market Mountaineers, coming from the Eastern Islands. They have 6 deliveries to try and get over 200. And they were able to get a single of the last over to bring Timson Maruma on strike. Striking at a 223, the best that we've seen so far in the innings. 29 from 13 that he has. 4 fours in 1 6. And here we go, last 6. Switches blades, or stance rather. He's going to push just for 1. Was looking to reverse sweep that one. We've seen that being done to spin, but he wanted to reverse sweep pace. Timson Maruma backing his talent here. Raymond Kasimo is the one that's been given the duties to bowl this last over.
So Alistair Frost has almost been a spectator on the other end. Is that one? And goes for 4. Decides to get in on the fun. And moves the score to 193 for 4.
So you're out. You said 192. Meanwhile, Mountaineers have other ideas. They do want the 200. 7 away. It'll be a moral victory if they're able to get there, because they did have the platform. Run rate just under 10, 9.9 to be specific. Good ball. Narushima does not disturb the rhythm of Kasimo here. He will need all the concentration that he has. He will need every inch of precision to be able to deliver the ideal deliveries, just to minimize and just to keep Mountaineers under that 200. Slow delivery again. Get to 194. Maruma now on strike. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, because the man has been striking it well already on 30 from 14. 214 is his strike rate. Right. One area where Maruma target here. Slot delivery. Block hole. Well bowled. That's a good delivery. Well bowled by Kasimo. You can just tell by the way that he is walking that he's really amped up. High levels of concentration. Really thinking about each and every delivery that he has to bowl. That's what you need at this moment. That's why he seems to be the right man for the job at the moment. Right, last ball to go here. Can they keep them under 200? Again, slow delivery, but hit well. Very, very well. That's a magnificent strike by Alistair Frost. It'll give them a maximum, and they will get over 200. They will get 201 to be exact. It'll be a magnificent feel for Mountaineers. Tusker did try to pull things back, but Mountaineers still had enough firepower to get over 200. Alistair Frost gets a maximum off the last ball to get them over the mark. 201 for 4 is where they end up in their allotted 19. This should be the highest score this season, breaching the 200 mark. There'll be a lot of work for Tuskers as they will be coming back for the chase. Let's just get through the scorecard for Mountaineers. They lost earlier wicket of Joel Gumbi, went for 7. But however, everybody else that came in after him, they put up valiant efforts. His opening partner, Brian Bennett, scored 59 from 46. Nicholas Welsh, 81 from 42, should be the top score in this innings. Timson Maruma, a good knock of 31 from just 15. Ashley Van Nooya, 1 boundary, and he was away. Alistair Frost, decent knock, 13 from 6. And in the end, Mountaineers, 2-0-1 for 4 in their 20.
And looking at the bowling card there, Brandon James 2 for 26, the pick of the bowlers, getting his maiden wickets and as far as his T20 career, which is debut this particular season. Ainsley Glover, the captain, 1 for 29, and Ernest Masugu 1 for 51. But the talk of the day is going to be that 119 partnership between Nicholas Welsh and Brian Bennett to put up that score of 201 for 4. For now, we take a break. When we come back, the Tuskers reply.
One definite thing for sure that I can tell you. They'll start off with spin. That's the Mountaineers in their defense. And they go to a man that is no introduction to such situations of bowling within the power play. That's well-experienced Wellington Masakadza. Man who has even been given the captaincy during the Pro 50 Championships. Still as a leader. This time is tasked with the role to open up the bowling, is to slow things down. Larry, as you take so far, score of 202, you'll be happy with that.
Surface that I think the slower bowlers have had some sort of success with. You saw Ainsley Ndlovu doing quite well, but ultimately, end of the day, you have to bowl well.
And bowl well, you have to. Slog sweep just gets it over square leg. That's a good strike. Should be able to get their first boundary. Good strike from Kosana Mpofu. You're working the angle there, playing it with the turn, and is able to open their boundary account there for Tuskers. Should have been taking notes when Mountaineers was batting. Shorter boundaries here. Oh, top edge! And he'll be fortunate. Very, very fortunate is Nkosana Mpofu, trying to work it leg side off the hip. Gets a leading edge, and it shows fault of the man that is at short mid-wicket catching there. That's what he wanted to do. Well, that's how he should have played the early ball. Rotate strike. So for Tuskers to get to 202, they'll need to go just about 10 and over. No more, because things will slow down after the power play. Off the hip, this one, they should be able to get a couple easily. No, wait for the umpire to see if that came off the bat. And that's wide. Get a couple. They get 3 with the extra of it being wide, and they're in 2. First over done, 10 for no loss for the Tuskers. Into the second over now. You'll see pace being introduced. And where else will they turn to other than the senior statesman Tendai Chatara? Good bounce, well played by Mpofu. Watching it. Tendai Chatara had an outstanding season, both in the red ball and the other competition of white ball that's in the Pro 50. Looking to continue on that rich form that he has found year in and year out on the domestic circuit. Slow delivery. He wanted to play that now down straight, but you know, go through mid wicket. Now get a couple. Didn't have control in that shot in Nkosana Mpofu. But good ball from Chatara.
Chatara, a very experienced player. Went for quite a bit in the last match. Still took quite a few wickets. Back himself. And that's gone up and up. And he's gone. Tendai Chatara gets the first wicket, forcing Nkosana Mpofu into a full shot. And he has to go, and Tendai Chatara gets the Mountaineers off the mark. Nkosana Mpofu going for just 8 of 7 balls. Not the start you want if you're chasing such a big target.
Poor shot. And he pays the price as Nkosana Mpofu. Tuskers lose their first. Going to be Tuskers on the back foot. 12 for the loss of 1.
Making his way into the middle now is Clive Madande, a man who had been out for a while with injury. He had been out for a while before this tournament. His last go with a bat or gloves was early December in Belayo against Pakistan. And he's now made his way back and sort of easing his way back into cricket. A big year coming ahead in terms of amount of cricket that Zimbabwe will be playing, and a lot of cricket being played across the country as well, making sure players develop the skills necessary to get to the next level. And also sports as a good vehicle for community building. And Clive Madande in this particular series has scored 13 and 33 as his previous scores. And Tendai Chatara interested in that. Umpire not so much. Umpire Stanley Gogwe standing. There was a bit of excitement by Tendai Chatara, but nothing given there.
Trying to work it leg side, Clive Madande. Just understands the situation in terms of what Tuskers need to do, asking rate. But however, nothing out of that one. That's the end of the second over. And Tuskers 12 for 1 after 2.
Victor Nyawuchi bowling his first ball today. And Brian Shari says welcome to the crease with a square cut. Finds his way to the boundary, and Brian Shari gets his first boundary of the innings. Trying to get the score going.
Good strategy by Brian Cherry, just opening the face of the plate on that occasion. Getting it over the man at point, or man square of the wicket there, in the offside. It's a good start. Boundary of the first ball. Short, pulled away. Not before. Maybe back-to-back boundaries. Wasn't controlling that shot. But too fine for short. Fine leg there. And he'll pick up another. So that's 8 off the over. And Tuskers are not going to die wondering. Which is a good strategy. Give yourself a chance. Yes, you haven't had the best of seasons as a team. But also, don't just make up numbers. Put up a fighting effort. Chari, 2 boundaries and 2 consecutive ones. Front foot. Pace off by Victor Nyauchi. And well played as well by Brian Cherry. Brian Cherry is known for his efforts pretty much in the longer version of the game. This one will give me an opportunity to give a good look at him of how he plays the shorter format. I always see him as a 4-day or test player, you'd say. It's worked over, cover, that's shot. Shorter boundaries, the chase is on. Wellington Masakadza does well to keep it within the boundary. They'll get 2. It's a good over, 10 already. And it's got about 2 deliveries to go. Well worked. That's good ball and well played as well. This is the thing about T20, just the ability to navigate good deliveries into singles. You rotate the strike, you able to manage that dot ball percentage. Just keeps you in the chase. Keep the scoreboard ticking, they always say, in all formats, be it the longer 3 on test, in the 50 over format. As long as you keep the ball percentage low, you're in a good place. Well played, back foot punch, but finds the fielder. That'll be the end of the third. 23 for 1 after 3.
So the Tuskers have had a difficult season. The first match, they were only able to put 133 on the board. The second one, 127. I know that their season ends tomorrow in terms of the matches they'll play, but on a surface that's looking good, getting as close as possible to that total will be important. They will need to make some sort of statement here and get as close as possible for their own confidence.
Yeah, we see a change of ends for Wellington Masakadza. Right leg side. Well played. Yeah. Now what will be important, Larry, is a strategy to get as close as possible. So they need to break down their game into smaller sections. And I think the first one will be the power play. Where do they end at the end of the power play? Where would they be? They've already lost 1. So crunched. Now almost taking out his partner there. That is Clive Madande. Strikes it into the arm of Brian Cherry. And hit him right on the hand. He's already taken off the glove. Team doctor will come through to have a look at him. But just to go back to my point that break it into smaller parts. Look at the power play. Where do you end? If they can finish the power play just around the 60 mark, maybe they can lose 1 wicket, which will be fine. 60 for 2 or 70 for 2 after 6. You'd be happy. You would think that they have a chance because you need to make use of the fielding restrictions, shorter boundaries that you have here. And they give you opportunity to really put away the bad deliveries, get 4s, get 6s within those. You just get a kind of relief as you go. And the next passage of play, when we get to after 10 overs, where are you? 150 or 120? You'll be fine. And the next 5, and then the last 5. That's how we break it up. Good to see Blind Cherry is up and about, shaking it off. He's a key member of this Tuskers batting unit, and they will need him out there. So it's good to see him that he's still out there. They have a chance. Clive Madande on strike. He'll be looking for form. So that's how they need to finish off their season, like you did say, or start it off in a new year. Good ball from Masakaza. A little bit of extra bounce.
Down, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you still have. And you have on the other end, Wellington Masakaza, a very skilled bowler. Sure, he went for 11 in a single over. But you need probably what they were able to do. One shot, right? More and more of those. It goes for 4. Just lofted. That's the sort of what you want from Tuskers. But I think you've got to take the 202 target out of your head, because when you think of it as a huge figure, it feels like something that is out of touch. You've got to break it into small little bits, almost like being a baby. You start with small little liquid foods. That's the thing. Clive Madande with that 4 getting off the mark. Takes a lot more dot balls than he'd have liked, and is taken to the liking of Wellington Masakaza, as a player with whom he has spent his at international levels. He knows him quite well, and suddenly that overtake yielded 9 runs, and the score is 32 for 1.
Tendai Shatara changing ends. I really love to know the names of these ends here. Which one is which? Right here, Takashinga Sports Club. But the last 2 overs have been very, very good for Tuskers. In fact, all of the 3 that they have had into the 4th one have been good. Quick single taken. Oh, just get a feeling that Clive Madande was struggling a bit there. Took off late for that quick single. But it was a very, very risky run that they took. Well played, well bowled as well. Good bounce off a good length ball, you would say.
Tara carries on. And that is a huge hit right there. I'll tell you what, into the trees. And he's taking the liking. I'll tell you, Tendai Chatara will not be pleased with how he has delivered that. On the other end, Clive Madande will gobble those up at most levels, dispatched with a level of disdain.
Good comeback. He cuts him in half. He was winding himself up to dispatch that one. It's a good hit for 6 from Clive Madande. Intentions are clear. Too short. Madande does have the power, possesses long levers. Good striker of the ball. Well, ball again. Good running. This is what you need. Convert the good balls into singles. Good running between the two. It's already a good over. They have 8 off it. Remember to say they need to go just about 10 plus and over. And they have done that consistently so far in the number of overs that they've faced so far. First one, they got 10. 12 in the second. So it was a magnificent start that they've had so far. 40 in the 4.5 overs that they have faced. 8.28 is what they are going at. Required is 10.68. So they're just keeping within reach, watching the required run rate. After this over, or this delivery actually, there'll be one more over remaining in the power play. And I get a feeling that they will really try to amp up things a bit, these two. Worked into the covers in the air for a bit, but a dot ball to finish that one. 5 overs done, 40 for the loss of 1 for the Tuskers.
Comes against. Tuskers have amped up, trying as much as possible to get as close to that total as possible. If you look at what Mountaineers were able to achieve in the power play was 61 runs for one. Might be asking a lot if you 20 runs from this over, but possible because they have hit a couple of sixes.
Well, they've only had one. Madande took Wellington Masaka's over a huge one. Down the track. Just a dot ball. This will be a good competition, good matchup that we have. Changing ends as Victor Nyawo Nyauchi, another dot ball that he has there. Bowling very well. This is the last over of the power play. And if they can restrict Tuskers here, they can be able just to put some dot ball pressure, and then that will convert to scoreboard pressure. Good delivery, good pace, good bounce. Getting into his rhythm is Victor Nyauchi. One that I feel should be donning Zimbabwean colours, and the red ball has decent pace, his experience behind him, and he's also showing it in the shortest format that we have here. It's Victor Nyauchi. Great temperament for the game, very passionate player. Oh, another good delivery. Really opening him up. There's a smile on his face. Brian Cherry struggling to read Nyauchi here. That one was a leg cutter. Drawing the batter forward, something that we haven't seen much, whereby you can put the batter under pressure. Getting caught in two minds there.
No, absolutely. Come back very well after conceding 11 in his first over. Gone to the other side. And another beautiful delivery, but an inside edge makes his way on to the boundary. Normally never put a fielder in that position. Situation where there's a matchup, but you know they kind of. And so at the end of that over, only 5 runs off it, and the score is now 45 for 1. So what that means?
All right, end of the power play. They'll be looking to escalate things to greater heights. That's Tuskers, just like that gentleman that you see at the roof there. Risky move, you see. I don't see any safety harness that he has. Doing some work on the roof. It's been raining.
So you call him Spider-Man?
Coming down the track, Madande. A swing and a miss. As
Fortune.
we see a change in bowler. New one, Fortune Klanga, brought into the attack here. Clive Madande trying to be the enforcer. Push back a bit at the bowlers early on in the over, because if you get a boundary off the first delivery of the over, you put the bowler under pressure, because they'll have to think of the rest of the 5 deliveries coming up. Slashed away when there's protection in deep. Maruma clean that up. That's Chedai Chatara rather. Just be 1.
So with the first delivery, you saw Fortune, Brian Chari, or rather Clive Madande, almost double stepping because of the pressure. It's over in which they couldn't get the runs going as Fortune Klanga comes up, bowled very well, and it's gone up in the air, and it's dropped. An absolute sitter, you want to say. Maybe might have been confused by the sun or whatever the case may be, but I did it with hard hands and didn't hold of it. And the chance goes begging. Sort of situation that pressure is supposed to elicit, and Fortune Klanga would be very disappointed. But again they go. as it stands, Tuskers will find themselves just a bit behind the curve, but not too far, because the end of the power play, they were 45 for 1. Mountaineers are 61 for 1. So just 16 runs difference. And Fortune Klanger perhaps putting too much of his back into that delivery, as the umpire, I know Chabi, very experienced umpire, has done it at international level. Calls are wide. It's a very interesting period that both teams find themselves in. It's one of those where it's almost as if something's got is interesting is supposed to about to happen. Almost to go when it was dropped. A little bit of impatience, perhaps trying to negate the length. Brian Chari. Send over. Another one was debuted in this particular as far as his T20 career. Didn't get a wicket Rhinos, but against Rocks for 20. Brian Chari finally delivering a brilliant cover drive to end the over. An over that goes for 8 runs. Tawanda Eli has been saying you want to get to that 10 run, but if you around the 8 run mark, 53 for 1 after 7 overs. Something that I probably need to do a little bit of going around to find. This ground opened in 2003 by Brian Lara. Alistair Frost, player, was impressed in the red ball format this season, playing his 24th T20. Took 2 wickets in the first match of the tournament. Didn't bowl in the second at all. So an interesting variation in as far as his bowling is concerned. And is lofted over, and that goes into taken along on a couple of more of those runs needed. Beg your pardon, was Brian Bennett bowling there. Pressed a lot. He's got a 5-hour in Test cricket, handy in the white ball format, developing himself into something of an all-rounder for both the Mountaineers and the other that he's taken part in. Asked to use his arm a lot more often than not. I think An effort being made to find the ball, and the umpire's looking at the ball just a bit to see if there's been any change in the condition of the ball, and while we wait for that, Eli. So now we're around 60 for 1. This is sort of at this moment still trying to piece your way over to the 10th over when there's the strategic timeout to have a think once again to see where you are and then push on from there.
Yeah, I think that's where you would love to be at the moment as Tuskers. They wouldn't mind being here. If they can get 10 more runs, they'll be happier, because at the same situation, Mountaineers were on 71 for the loss of 1. So it's pretty much almost neck and neck. Just 10 runs behind. I know 10 is a lot in T20 because that can be a winning margin by. But I just get a feeling Tuskers get a 1 good over when they can, or 2 rather, they can get about 15 and over. They'll be happy. And trying to get to the halfway mark, they'll really love that. They'll be very, very much happier. When we're seeing right now, there's a change in the ball. The umpires are not happy. Not happy with the condition of the ball that was hit away. So they'll just change that one. Fustum Tizwa getting some leg work out there. Who's the third umpire. And also it gave an opportunity for Brian Cherry to get some work done to that hand that was struck by Clive Madande early on. I hope he's not struggling with it. As a batter, I think that's not his. That's just his backhand that normally a lot of people use to generate power when they're playing leg side. Don't see Cherry pretty much as a leg-sided player, but you want him to be in good health. Thumbs up for everything. We've changed the ball. Done to the end. And a single. Come back for 2. That's good running. Mr. Boss will be guilty of some lazy fielding there. Bennett just looks down. Work through the offside. That's a good strike. And there's a sweeper. Nick Welsh will do the cleaning up. That's an over. Very good one. Tuskers will get to the 8th over, 63 for the loss of 1.
I'll tell you what, we've got an interesting game here, because as long as they're around that sort of area where they can still have a go. We saw the day before yesterday, Eagles kept close. But unfortunately, because they'd lost a lot of wickets, they couldn't get over the line. A very manful performance by Tadewa Nashe Marumani. Couldn't get over the line, but if you're close, then you can have a conversation. Oh, was that dropped? Oh, you can see from the way the keepers responded, that was an opportunity.
Drop catch. At this level, those should stick. Because Mountaineers here, they probably might have thought that they could blow away Tuskers, but they're putting up a fight. And you want to take each and every opportunity of taking a wicket that you get here. Emphasize for Chubby. The effort ball, but on the wrong line. It goes for an extra.
Just observing Fortune Channel, just looking at the square leg umpire. Of course it's wide. You're wide for Blessing Zarabani as well.
Down the track. Magnificent strike by Jari. That's 6. Well over the boundary fence. And even the perimeter fence, that'll be 6. Magnificent strike. And just get a feeling that that was coming. Great use of the feet to get to the pitch of the delivery. It didn't come from the middle of the bat, came from the toe end. But it had enough the power to go for 6. Good hit.
It's a great hit from Brian Chari, often known by many people as more of a touch player. Showing that he can heave those double steps again. Top edge, safe.
Unfortunate. I wanted to do a repeat. I probably wanted to perfect the first one. But this one was a leading edge. And we're now outside the power play, so the field has been spread. Men had to run back from deep backwards square. And it just fell within that square leg region. Safe, Cherry, to leave for another day. Banged away. Doesn't really get to hit it. Man under it, taken. Madande will depart. It hit him high up on the bat there. Really didn't strike it from the juicy part of the bat. And found a well-placed Chatara. Tuskers, they lose their second. And that will slow them down a bit here. But Mountaineers will be happy. Tuskers, 71 for 2.
I'll tell you what, that was some clever bowling from the young man. Fortunately, just a bit. Clive Matlande was expecting it to come onto the bat a little bit quicker and could only sky it, and collected quite easily by Tendai Chatara at cow corner. And just that sit back, but still with a lot of firepower. Said Milton, one of them, holds a lot of promise as it comes to the crease. What is going to be his mindset? Because it's still 11.56 per over required. So there isn't much time to try and settle as so often he needs to.
Yeah, but that honors will definitely fall on Brian Cherry, who's been there from the start. Just to talk about Clive Madande and the wicket that they've lost, 19 from 19. Just get a feeling that his innings or his departure, because you feel like he left out runs there, maybe about 20 more he could have added on. Milton Shumba off the mark. And rightly does so to bring Cherry onto the strike. He'll have to lead this chase with a new partner out there. In comparison, they lost their second wicket, Tuskers, 5 overs earlier than where Mountaineers were. And so that 5 overs could be a huge difference. And I feel like Clive Madande's wicket is a vital one, because he could have added a bit more runs on that board.
I think another factor as we get to the end of the 9th over, where the score is now 73 for 2. Clive Madande took 7 to get off the mark. Whereas if you look at both Nick Welsh and Brian Bennett, they were quick off the blocks. So even when they lost this wicket, even 5 overs later, they were on 147. And that's where you want to do. It's not enough and have an asterisk on your name. You have to get the runs. They had 2 players close to 200, going at close to 200. And at the moment, Brian Shari going at 148. As Brian Bennett continues.
Oh, fortunate Brian Bennett on that one. I'd have given that as a wide, but anyway, I'm not the one that's standing out there in the middle. Big Eve, leg side. Sweeper, hitting the sweeper, just 4-1. So it's another partnership rebuilding for the man in blue with a touch of green and navy blue there. That's the Tuskers. Bit of chatter between the captain, Wellington Masakadza, and Brian Bennett for plans that they have and bowling strategies. Just get a feeling that Mountaineers have had a sign of relief. Picking up the wicket, quick single taken. Good running from Chari, because the partnership of Madande and Brian Chari was beginning to be a thorn in the flesh. Was a good one, you would say. If they can get a repeat between Milton Shumba and Chari, that'll be good, because they need their best batters who have come up front to stay at the crease for as much as possible. Down the track, looking to go straight, but will go just a little bit square up to hit the sweeper. And for Tuskers, it won't be just about staying at the crease, but staying and scoring runs, because the asking rate started out at just 10. It'll keep going up with top balls and singles taken, because you need more than that.
Quite rightly started off at a 10, now 12.2, and it's just that difference of 2 overs or rather a couple of just over and over since the wicket fell. And in that period, only 6 runs scored. Need a little bit more than that. Need way more than that. Yes, it's great to rotate the strike, but in the context of this match, you need a little bit more. As we move into the strategic timeout, the score is 78 for 2. So at the end of that break, Tuskers may have a chat with the coach. Have a chat with him to see, hey, look, what do we do here? Do we survive out or do we have a proper go?
The experience of Brian Cherry and Milton Shumba, this definitely presents them with a good challenge or a good opportunity to show their caliber and expertise. They have played against the majority of these Mountaineers players, so you're not facing anything new. You are playing with your compatriots that you've played with for a long time, so you know what to expect. But it's just having that confidence in yourself to apply yourself within this situation. Use of the feet, taking the pace off. Good efforts from Gumbi to try and effect a run out. Good call from Milton Shumba to take the single. Need to keep the scoreboard ticking, like I said.
Scoreboard ticking, but as he keeps saying, the circumstances need at least over. If we can get him even better. Milton Shumba going at 3 off 3 at the moment. Alistair Frost coming in. Does have a good line and length about him, but there has to be some innovation here from the Tuskers batters. The Mountaineers won't mind because it doesn't provide any dent to what they're trying to defend, because they won't mind that. Happy to give you the singles. And you can see what they're trying to do, particularly Brian Cherry. Gets that late, but
yeah, played late. Had a good stop from Fortune Mhlanga there. Able to quickly move to his left and stop a fine late cut shot. The last 5 overs yielded 40 runs for the loss of 1 wicket for Tuskers, scoring it in and over. They need more than that. 12.7 is the asking rate. Still within reach, you would say. They need a few big blows, especially from Milton Shumba. Boldham. Leg cutter coming down the track, misses it totally, crushes into leg stump. A magnificent piece of bowling there. He even highlights it to Chari there. Just rolling his fingers on that occasion was Frost. Beats him as he was coming down the track. Milton Shumba goes for just 4 runs on the board. Tuskers, they lose their third. They'll be 81 for 3.
especially on the surface, which the other team scored 202. 201 out of 4, which was 202. This point, you want to be there or thereabouts when you get towards the end. It's sufficient wickets in hand. Those little gentle nudges for singles are not going to bother the a Mountaineers match. And it was that pressure that caused Milton Shumba to get down the track, to probably take his eye off the board, hoping to connect and send one out of the ground. Towards the gentleman, not doing the crucials are not working, you're not getting you anywhere, and the end of the 11 overs is 83. 5 run rates, now 13.22, getting into that region. And you always need 3 boundaries.
Lost 2 wickets in the space of 2 overs for the cost of 8 runs. They've lost a wicket in the 8th over, 73 for 2, and then in the 11th over they lost another one. So that scoreboard pressure and the required run rate is telling on Tuskers. Field is well spread. Have to take a risk. Punching it down the track. Shari. Get a feeling that they started out well. They were a bit aggressive earlier on, which is why I said that at the end of the power play, you would have needed to have about 70 runs. And it kind of just cushions you as you get into these parts where you have the field that is spread out. The slowing rate just comes down a bit. If you're neck and neck or just under that, it's tough. It's really, really hard. Singles won't mean much. They won't do much, like you say, to the Mountaineers' mindsets. But more than that is what you need. Down the track, hitting it into the wind. Does it carry over? Yes, it does. Good hit, Brian Cherry. He had just enough to get it over because he went straight. The breeze is coming from that direction. And that strike is an important boundary that will be welcomed by his teammates. And that will bring a 50 up. A well-constructed one, you would say. Opening the face of the blade. And he goes. And the umpire raises the dreaded finger. Getting to 50 and out, Brian Cherry. Action happening thick and fast right here, Takashinga. He had not even celebrated enough. His half century was Brian Cherry. And the faintest of tickles and a good catch from Joel Gumbi sees the departure of the man who has been the backbone of the Tuskers innings. Brian Cherry departs 53 from 37 deliveries.
Congratulations to Brian Cherry's 7th half century, but couldn't do more than that. But Ashley Fandauya, maiden T20 wicket. A lot of players debuting in this tournament across the different clubs. So he can say a wicket. This is his second match bowling. He bowled in the match against Rocks, but now he's got a wicket column. Could he do what Fortune Planga did? Get 2 wickets, or rather, it wasn't Fortune Planga, it was Brandon James earlier on. Get 2 wickets in the same over.
Another youngster comes to the crease for Tuskers. Menashe Chimsoro, wicketkeeper batter, featured for the Zimbabwe under-19s. Does well in domestic cricket back in Bulawayo. Plays for Queen Sports Club. Has quite a job to do here, but really murky waters that Tuskers are finding themselves in. And 2 fairly new batters at the crease. Works it leg side. Gets off the mark. Look Jongwe on 2. Came in just also at the end of the other over. 12 overs done. It'll be 92 for the loss of 4 for Tuskers.
Stands guard, just a quick reminder. Wait for that. You have to face that delivery. Guided. And able to run for a single. Just remind you that after this match, there's a very consequential match between, slightly another bite of the cherry, between Southern Rocks and Rhinos. 145. We're bringing you all the action. And if you dump it up as well, 4x4.
Good
Really
stop. Very, very good stop there. Well, sting a bit for Timson Maruma, but not good work to stop that one at backward point. With Fortune Mhlanga. Mountaineers will be the happier of the two sides. They picked up 4 wickets in 12 overs. And really are tightening the screws here on Tuskers. Required run rate slowly creeping up to 14.40 at the moment. Get a feeling that Tuskers are running short of big hitters. Look, Jungwe here, leading run scorer so far in this tournament. 50 plus runs in the number of games that they've played. Not a good sign, you would say. We'd expect more from the top order batters. I know Luke Jungwe will not look at him as a lower order batter, but in domestic cricket, he really bets up high there. He's in the top 10 batters in this tournament. Big hit, clean, sweet. Save your legs. Somebody help us to retrieve that one. That's a good strike for 6. Flat one, you would say. Yeah, there will be calls by Nachabi to say, force some tees up, bring out the bag of balls again, because that one was flying away. I hope it is safe out there, because there are soccer fields just in that region where you hit it. Hope all is safe.
You can't call it. Force Tees will come in. New ball, please. Some clean hitting. Luke Jungwe, no stranger to that. See him hit a lot of them big. He just needs to do it more regularly. As the 100 comes up, it's 101 for 4, 12 and 5 overs. That the Tuskers will need a lot more of that. The required run rate is now 14. A couple of more of those also ruffles the feathers of the bowlers, and then suddenly what looks safe becomes a bit iffy.
And that was a good hit. So half and half we are. 101 on the board, 101 needed. 6. Now good shot. Trying to open the offside.
But I think this strategy from Lok Jongwe is a good one. End of the over, 13 done, 101 for the loss of 4. Ashley Mfandawe making the attack. No, rather, sorry, beg your pardon, Wellington Masakaza. Trying to bog Chimsoro down. Monashi Chimsoro comes highly rated. Watching for a long time, Chimsoro. The time he was in primary school, he was already playing club cricket. When I say primary school, I'll tell you, just around 12. He was under the wing of currently the Rocks coach.
That's well played. Unfortunately, his cover on that end. Deep back with square leg. So can go anywhere.
Jongwe. Well bowled, well played. They'll pick up a single. We're still talking about Nashi Chinsoro. And for a long time was being coached by Jaulu Mube. Perhaps being in the feet of the coaching department of national sides. Bowling coach. Now it rocks. In action also a little later. Possesses a lot of potential, but now he needs to convert that potential into something significant.
Tell you what, this is for his own confidence. This is a great platform for him, because if Tuskers losing from this position, the question will be who tried, who gave it a go. That's going to be the big question. And at the end of the 14th over, it's 105 for 4. Fortune Klanga back into the attack, and welcoming him back is Luke Jongwe.
Well, the trees that are on the perimeter fence, they will act as a safety net for the other field. Hitting with the wind. Look, Jongwe. That one went like a missile. Sweet sound. You can almost hear the effect of that shot. It deafens the mood in the field. The Mountaineers players silent as they appreciate that shot.
Absolutely. As you say, a couple more of those, and suddenly the conversation gets very interesting. And it's up to the senior player, one of the most experienced players, Luke Jongwe, to give some hope to the Tuskers. Not impossible. Will be difficult. What does young Fortune Klanga do here?
Offside. Should run for 2.
And they come back quickly and easily. Good running. Appreciated by the Tuskers dugout. That's what they need. A few big hits. Good running in between the wickets. And it will help them if they can do this for the next 3 or so overs. It'll be good.
I'll tell you what what I'm liking about that fight, because the Tuskers faithful would say, even if you're losing, we want to see you fight.
Crack it away. Hit the field. Top ball. It's a good over, you would say, for Mountaineers, but at the same time, Tuskers will just give them something to believe. If the pair that's in the middle can find a formula that they can be able to navigate what's required of them. Cut away. That one should be good enough to keep Luke Jongwe in a position to take strike in the next over. He's not happy with himself. Feels like it was a missed opportunity. The strategy for me would be good, especially within the over. When they're facing from this end, Luke Jongwe looks to utilize hitting with the wind. He has the power and he can time it well. Good strike rate over 200 at the moment. Two deliveries to go in this over. Trying to strategize Wellington Masakadza how they're going to attack Manashi Chimsoro. Knew better, only on 5. Too wide.
And as is happening right now, the 2 other teams settling in. An afternoon of exciting cricket. Quite a few of the fans from the surrounding areas already here to catch some top tier provincial cricket.
Swing and a miss. That's a good sight to see. Quite a number of fans have come out. That's a favorite sitting area for a lot of fans that come out to Takashinga from the surrounding community to come and watch. Like I did say, it's a good day for cricket. There's a gentle breeze blowing across this time around. So if you have time on a good day, on a good Friday like this one, come and enjoy a good afternoon of fantastic cricket. Shot. Now there's a sweeper. Well placed. And we end the over. It'll be 1-1-6 after 15.
Wellington Masakadza, the captain, comes in. And, that one is past the Vegas area. Luke Jongwe comes to strike, taking a liking to spin.
Big Eve. That's a good hit. Mighty, mighty hit. And onto the roof. Or onto the scoreboard. Magnificent strike from Luke Jongwe. He has to go because the asking rate is just now above 17 and over that's required in these last 5.
So he has to give everything that he has at this moment. Wellington Masakadza, up until that delivery, had gone for 24 runs that he had. Now 30 with 3 deliveries to go. It is allotted for. Doesn't have a wicket. Quicker, flatter delivery. And 2 remain in the over. Good comeback.
A bit more pace in that one. Another beauty of a delivery after that big 6.
That's good bowling from Wellington Masakadza. He's bowling Yorkers just outside off stump, trying to draw Luke Jongwe to go outside off stump, and he doesn't like it. He's looking at the umpire saying, that's too wide. That's good strategy. Shorter one. And he'll pick up a single. And that should be the end of the over. So 16 overs done. 124 for the loss of 4. Four remaining overs. Required run rate 19.50. They will need 20 runs per over in these last 4, the Tuskers. And good thing is that Luke Jongwe is on strike, so maybe, just maybe, he can be able to get there. Some few nasty blows, but a lot will be required. 20 and over is not a small task to achieve, especially with Tendai Chatara being the one that's bowling now. Comes into the attack for his 3rd over. There's 1 wicket to his name in the 2 overs that he's bowled. 2 for 10 at the moment. Those are his figures. 1 for 10, I beg your pardon. Wildish. Just be 1. Monasha needs to get Luke Jongwe on strike as quickly as possible. He needs to look for a quick single.
Unless, of course, he believes he can hit it.
Sometimes you don't need to complicate things. Just a simple. Give the strike to a man that's in form or is at a better look than you. Bowl him! Trying to flick one that is full and straight. You miss the hit. The senior statesman picks up his 2nd wicket. That's Tendai Chatara. Monasha Chimsoro will depart for 7 of 13. Struggling really to get his innings going here. Kind of sums up the innings for Tuskers here. And they lose wicket number 5. 1-2-5 for the loss of 5.
Raymond Casimo makes his way. Has to face Tendai Chatara. First ball on the money. all Ruben Kasima can do is try and fend off that ball. Not much else happens. Tata figures of 2 for 11. Gone for almost plenty in his first over. Come up quite well, showing the experience that is necessary at this and even higher levels, where it's taken a lot of wickets for Zimbabwe, won matches across different formats. Certainly, player of absolute quality is Delighted Dada. He's takes the field of his own bowling, but he does. Just a single of that. Not going to bother. In this instance, needing 22.8. It's almost as if Tuskers at this point will just need to have a go. Mathematically still possible to win this match. Probability quite low. Talent goes in. Round is over. And here is flicked, an absolutely brilliant flick of a shot. Flicked fine and beautifully at the end of that over. Luke Jongwe picks up a 6. And the score is now 133 for 5.
On stand for 6 by Luke Jongwe. As we see our friend still up there. Getting some roof work done on that area. Probably trying to address some leaking parts of the roof. It's been raining. Quite welcome rains. Definitely desires a lot of courage to be standing up there. You scared of heights, Larry? Well, Tuskers need to stand up and be counted here. 23 runs per over required. And the last 3 overs. Is it possible? Maybe. You never know. Play through. I'll scamper through for 1.
So Victor Nyawuchi grabbing that wicket. Luke Jongwe disappearing with whatever hope there was of winning this match. If there was any hope left, required right now 25.5. Alistair Frost collecting that quite comfortably at deep mid-wicket. As Eli said, it almost sums up the innings for the Tuskers. Lack of quality at important moments. Perhaps quality not the word, but lack of execution rather at important moments. Had a talented bunch, not quite able to put a consistent performance together at critical points. Probably at this point it was a bit too late. But at 27.2 is just really difficult to get going now as Ernest Masuyu, chief pace bowlers, out to face a few deliveries that have left. 14 balls left in this over. It's been a difficult, absolutely difficult season in general for Tuskers. They'll have to go to the drawing board, figure out how to get this done. And there's a run stolen there, but a direct hit would have found Ernest Masuyu wanting.
A pale shadow of themselves at Tuskers at the moment. Bottom edge, will trickle to third man just for one.
And at the end of the 18th over, it's 136 for 6. Still a lot of cricket to be played, and fans continue to trickle in to watch the match. And Tuskers here just limping towards an inglorious end to this match. And Tendai Chatara comes to finish off these allotted overs. Currently on 2 for 19 after 3 overs. Raymond Casimo, man to face him. Can he do the impossible here? The improbable, not quite impossible yet. Doesn't look like he knows much about that. An attempted lofted shot, doesn't get anything on it. And not sufficiently, bobbers up, locks up in the air. Chatara steaming back in. What has he got now? He's lured him into a false shot. And Tendai Chatara completes the catch off his own bowling. And that sees the end of Raymond Casimo.
Yeah, Tuskers and losing them thick and fast towards the latter stages. 136 for 7. And just around that par score that they've averaged throughout this entire tournament on 120, 130. That's where they end up. It just tells you their batting moves so far this season. That's where they are. Post anything above 150 or more, it becomes a challenge for them to try and chase down. Brennan James, the new man at the crease. Tendai Chatara seems to be now just picking up wickets for fun. 3 that he has so far. He's got 4 more deliveries to go. Maybe he can pick up 2 more and get a fifer. Quick single taken.
Tell you what, if Tendai Chatara picks another wicket here and doesn't concede more than 9 more runs, he will beat his best ever return, 4 for 30 in T20s. So a bit of a story within a story now.
If we can get one now, it'll be around 4 for 20. There we go. Swing and a miss. And he has 2 more deliveries to pick up a wicket. We can't talk anymore about Tuskers making an effort to chase it down because the required run rate is cardinal. Seem to even utter it. It's possible.
Could happen. Couple no balls.
This is franchise cricket. High school cricket maybe. Boozers League cricket maybe. But not here.
I mean, we've had international cricket where there have been 11, 14 balls in and over. Could happen. Whether it will happen is a completely different kettle of fish. I mean, it's now 54.86 needed. The last ball of the over into Tendai Chatara.
Up in the air. Can someone get under it? Good take by Brian Bennett. A magnificent running catch. Tendai Chatara will have the best figure so far. He'll pick up 4 wickets just for 21 runs in the 4 overs allotted to him. What a magnificent comeback from the man. Mountaineers, they finished the 19th with a wicket. And there's smiles all around.
Yes, brilliant for the big man Tendai Chatara, getting to his career best figures of 4 for 21 now as he dismisses Brandon James, caught brilliantly by Brian Bennett at cow corner. Going into the final over, it's 138 for 8. And coming to the crease now is the captain, Ainsley Ndlovu. Ainsley Ndlovu coming to the wicket, and Tuskers in dire position, dead position to be honest. Mountaineers will know they've got this in the bag, probably felt they've had it for a while. Fortune Kanga bowling the final wicket, rather bowling the final over, steaming in. And, if you look now, you can see the other 2 teams coming up straight after this. Will it be Roy Kaia's Rocks or Anton Nakvi's Rhinos? Roy Kaia playing at his home ground. He plays here at Takashinga. Plays for Takashinga. But at the moment wearing the colours of Southern Rocks. The lineup today is very interesting when it comes out. That match is on at 1:45. You can catch it on the Zimbabwe Cricket app. Just download it. It's available for free. Go to zimcricket.org. Follow the action there. Zimbabwe Cricket YouTube page, which will round off the action for today. But tomorrow we go back to Harare Sports Club, where the Mountaineers meet the Eagles. That could be a knockout fixture. Tuskers against Southern Rocks is in the afternoon. Southern Rocks still very much interested in this tournament. Then the final on Sunday afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Crown the Zimbabwe domestic T20 champion for 2024-35, Fortune Klanga. Bowled quite a few of those today, and something that Coach Stewart Matsikineri will have a chat with them about. It's all very well to try to get the short ball. Seems to perhaps pitch it just too short, conceding wides, and while there isn't much damage to the total today, it could happen when things are a lot more tighter.
Lots to think about during the off-season or during the winter season for Tuskers. Yeah, we did say that they still have a game to go. But they really need to go back and work out a solution. In these areas, they need to be competitive. And so far, they've been way, way short of that. Smashed away. If they had had that earlier on, it would have helped. Nansley Masugu finds the boundary. And with the delivery to go, just one more before we sum up this run chase, of which they are well shot of. Mountaineers will be the happier of the two sides. Last ball, top edge, man under it, takes it. And that rounds up the game for Mega Market Mountaineers, who will win this encounter versus Tuskers by 57 runs. And they will gladly take 2 more points. That will give them their first win in this competition. They had 2 losses in the trot. They pick up 2 more points. Tuskers fall short. Just having a look at their innings card here. They went about their business. Tuskers, Ansley, Lavu didn't make much impact at the bottom there. The only notable scores will be Luke Jongwe's efforts of 34 from 19. And Clive Madande, a valiant knock of 19 of 19. But the standing up performer, Brian Cherry, getting a half century, 53 from 37. But it wasn't enough for them to chase down 201 that they needed. 145 all out is what they had in their allotted 20. Now having a look at the bowling card for Mountaineers.
Bowling card for Mountaineers, Tendai Chatara, impressive, 4 for 21. Fortune Klanga, 2 for 26. And then 1 each from Victor Nyawuchi, Alistair Frost, and Ashton Fandawia.
Now just have a look at the points table. That Rhinos, they top the table at the top. 3 wins from 3. Now they have net run rate of 1.2. 6 points they have. Eagles are in second place. And one lost.